This episode of the Turf District podcast is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Even if you're a busy business owner with more meetings than hours in a day, you are calm and collected with your group benefit plan is taken care of by Alberta Blue Cross. Your employees can manage their own health, dental, life, and disability coverage online anytime on any device, making it easier for them and for you. To learn more and explore your options, head to ab.bluecross.ca. That's ab.bluecross.ca. Enjoy the show.
Hey, fellas, we ain't gonna ever back down from nobody. I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody! Light me up!
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported, and also a part of the Canadian Football Podcast Network. I'm Andrew, and welcome into the district tonight as we wrap up preseason and we get a chance to talk about the coming season. The regular season starts this week. Woo! We are very excited. It's excited to get in and get some games going. Yes, we're still excited. Even the result of that game on Friday was not great. Tonight, it is just two of us, myself and one commissioner. Kayla, how are you?
Well,
that good.
This isn't 2021, so I'm going to be optimistic, but ooh, that was a swift kick in the nuts. Wow.
Right?
That a very humbling experience, not that we needed to be any lower to the ground, but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah,
Here
exactly. Well, I think sometimes we need a reminder of what it was like, and we'll talk about that in a short bit, because I do want to talk about that. But I do want to start by asking you, though, how was the entire feel of being back at the stadium, and what was the game day experience like? What was tailgating like? All those types of things. I want to know what that was all like for you.
It felt, again, just like being home. It's so natural. It's just that thing that you're like, yes, now I feel complete. This is what was missing. And thanks again to you for the parking pass, because wow, is it ever handy just walking out to your vehicle and leaving the game?
Right?
Splendid. Oh, so great.
Extra bonus for tailgate. Yeah.
I know. And all my stuff was right there. And I mean, if they rejected me because my purse was too big, I'll be like, okay, I'll just be right back, instead of like, well, I got to throw this away now, or, So, I mean, that was great. Being at tailgate is always great. Brian Kelly was there, so we got to see him again. Yes, and his family. And, I mean, I loved it because Celeste got to meet him, and she got a picture with him and was just over the moon. So it was so great to see someone who, I know who Brian Kelly is, but like, you had to tell me at training camp, you're like, that's Brian Kelly. I'm like, oh, cool. Right? So, because that's like, I can't fangirl over something that I never was introduced to. So he was after or before my time. But it's really great to see him walking around at tailgate, still being involved in this organization. So that is awesome to see. And food was great. Thanks again, super fan. And Jedi Check, like, amazing. Janelle, thank you for the beer. It was delicious. Phillips Dinosaur. I'm telling you, it's good stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah. Okay. So, and yeah, just having everyone back, and I mean, what can you say about tailgate? You just have to go and experience it for yourself. But it's always so good to see everybody. And then the game day experience, I mean, I didn't see a big difference. I have no complaints. I mean, for the most part, I'm there for the football. I wish I wasn't this time, but
Fair.
but I mean, the halftime show was excellent. Like, I didn't even leave for Westivus because I was like, I'm just going to watch a little bit of it. I stayed for the entire thing because I was just so enthralled. I mean, the choir of the children was so heartfelt, and then they had the Ukrainian dancers, and it just brought me back to Grey Cup 2018 again, and I just got super overwhelmed, and I'm like, mixing my favorite things, and it's for a good cause. Like, what more could you ask for? So, I mean, some people were complaining about like music and stuff. I had no complaints. I was driving to the music. I was rocking and rolling. The cheer team. Oh, I'm so glad the Ariels are back. Excellent job, guys. Such a good job. Good music. They had some Kylie Minogue in there. And if you don't know who that is, I'm judging you.
I know who it is. Come on.
Not you, and anybody out there.
Like,
you don't know.
Anybody who's my age, I absolutely knows who Kylie Minogue is because we watched the videos.
Right?
Right.
Well, I mean, I've had for different reasons. But I'm a huge fan of hers. I went to Toronto to watch her in concert.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers. So when they did a dance to Can't Get You Out of My Head, I was like, you got me. I'm in. I mean, you're amazing talented wise, but I'm just the music. So I had fun. Everything else was on point for me, at least. I wish I would have tried some concession food, but next time.
Confession food. That's
confession food. It is my Sabbath today, so. But it smelled really good. It smelled like mini donuts, so. Yeah. I mean, I have no complaints. Football is back. There are so much like bigger things in the world that is going on. I just care that we're in the stadium again and we get to watch some football. So I had a great time.
Awesome.
Apart from you not being there, but
well, yeah. I mean, it can't be perfect. I mean, that's just
nothing can. That's right. I mean,
if you couple weeks, I'll be there.
If you were there, I would have exploded because there's
really?
too much.
Oh well, then I better not do that. I don't want you to explode.
It's okay.
Okay,
I'll leave my mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Is that the title of the podcast? I'll leave my mark.
I usually do, some way or another.
It's true. It's very true. Now, actually, tell me a little bit about the music because it seems like a great divide on Twitter for some reason that it was, too loud, too soft. It was, not like not good or bad. Like, and people love it, but people don't. Like, I was very odd to me. I'm like, without having been there to experience it and of course not be able to see it. So
there was definitely something wrong with the system. That's for sure.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something wrong with the speakers. It was really bizarre because when Chris and Ashley would speak, it would be like really piercing at first.
Okay.
So, and then the music wouldn't sound like it just sounded like all bass or something. So there was definitely something wrong with the system as far as like the actual music goes. Guys, it's just music. Like, you have to throw a mix of everything in there, and like, I didn't have any complaints. Like, that's the least of my concern. I had fun, but I like every kind of music. So I just think if we're having to nitpick at absolutely everything now, I mean, it's good to have criticism that is healthy and like, hey, like maybe you can rearrange it this way, but then someone else is going to have a problem with it, right? So it's just, I mean, just fix the sound in general, and I think we'll be all right. I mean, they didn't overplay country, so I'm like...
Well, it wasn't a Saskatchewan game. That's really...
I don't hate country, but sometimes I'm like,
but
really?
Not all the time. Yeah, exactly.
And with football, I don't know. It's just my least favorite. They should throw in some heavy metal just to get... It's like a bit cathartic, especially when we're losing really badly. It's really good to have some heavy metal because you're just like,
That's fair. Yeah. Coach is asking, what did you think of the brass tastics?
That was on my notes, so I'm glad you brought that up. That was going to be for my good. Yeah. Oh, man. You give me any kind of brass in jazz, in punk, in heavy metal sometimes when they throw, I'm all in. Like anything operatic or brass or anything like that, throw it into like modern music or anything, I'm all for. So I loved it. That guy with the mohawk, come on. Straight up punk from like punk, 80s punk. Loved it. And then with the drum line, and yeah, I'm all for it. I loved it. I was yipping and yang. So
Cool.
that was one of my positives for the game.
Yeah, I heard a lot more about them, and I heard some of them were actually like playing people out of the stadium and stuff, and that was really cool. And so I mean, that it sounds like they're doing some cool things. Like I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And then coach was also saying that he thought Ashley did a good job for her first
Mhm.
time around. And what did you find with the balance between Ashley and Chris Sheets? Because I mean, we're so used to Chris all the time, right? But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what it's like with the new voice.
Well, just one thing too with the brass tacks, like brass tactics, you definitely could tell with the speaker. I think if they just rearranged some of the mics, because some of the instruments were much louder than the others, so it wasn't a very cohesive set.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just nitpicky because I used to be in a jazz band, so I want to hear everything and be able to pick up each sound. So that's the only thing, but they just need to rearrange the mics.
Okay.
As far as like those two, I loved it. I loved how one was west and one was east. So they're hyping each side up individually. And then I thought it was like they didn't really miss a beat.
Nice.
They
Nice.
really worked well together. And yeah, I thought she did a great job.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well,
Mm-hmm,
let's
mm-hmm.
remind everybody who's joined us on YouTube, make sure, just like Coach, you throw your questions into the chat for us, and we will get to those as we go along. And if not during the podcast, definitely on overtime afterwards. We appreciate you guys putting your thoughts in there as we chat on a different night of recording, only because we're trying to avoid the Oiler game tomorrow night, and hopefully they will do better. Yeah, that's
Ugh,
we're gonna hope. I'm
we're
gonna
going to
hope
hope.
that they're gonna be better. That's all we got left is hope.
The only thing I can think of is they came back from a 3-1 deficit to move on, but now we're at a
Yeah,
3-0. So
yeah. So we'll see.
it could happen,
It's
but
always there's a
the Avalanche.
chance.
So just watching the Avalanche, I'm very envious. Their defense.
Oh, it's unreal. Yeah, they play a really good team game. Yeah,
So
and they
yeah.
have speed, right? So
Oh man, they're just like a well-rounded team. So I
yeah,
wouldn't be overly upset because let's be honest, they deserve it.
yeah, they've done very very well. Absolutely.
Anyway,
Well, let's get back to the other team. I mean, I know it wasn't a great weekend to be an Edmonton fan in general, but so yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rest of the game. Elks lose 37-7 to the Stamps. Um,
oh,
what did you see that was good though? What did you see that stood out as far as the play or other? I mean, you already talked about brass tactics, but what what else did you see that was good?
um, I mean, not to beat a dead horse.
We wish we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess my goods would be most likely, or more likely, just the individual players. And one thing I will say about this loss is at least we have a coach that doesn't take it laying down. I
Right.
wish I could have been a fly on the wall to hear everything that was said at halftime and after the fact, because we all know that that's not the kind of thing that CJ is just going to take like lightheartedly, like
Yeah. Did
any
you
other coach
watch
that we've had.
his post game
No, I haven't.
presser? I finally got a chance to kind of watch it today, and he said well, it's a pretty bad reflection on the coaching that we need to step up our game and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that they're, on point. But he said that like that was embarrassing. He goes, we had energy and that type of thing in Winnipeg last week, and this week nothing. No, he's like our team needs to play better than that. And he goes, and some people are gonna find out that's what happens when you don't put some energy in, and and that
Yeah,
happened too. So I think I agree with you. He's not gonna take it lying down, and he's also gonna be like, okay, who are the
what
people
are we
that
going to
were
fix?
doing what they're supposed to, and who are the people who weren't?
putting in the effort. I mean, you're not going to be the perfect player, but if you're correcting your mistakes or trying to correct your mistakes and not just coming back to the bench and whining about it, I mean, I don't know if that's what players were doing. I'm just saying at least like you're showing something. But it's really disheartening to end the season like we did and then to start back up at home when you just saw that they won against the former Grey Cup champs. Mind you, it was still preseason. I understand that. But you get that little spark and then you come home and you play your rivals and you get beaten down that bad. It's like really disheartening. And I'm not going to lie. I wasn't being like facetious at all on Twitter. I was having a bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
This is not happening again, right? This is only preseason. Don't jump ahead, but it's a lot. So we'll just move on from that and hopefully that we can actually show up on the 18th.
Well, let's show up on the 11th first in BC.
Well, I
and
mean,
then show up on the 18th.
apparently we're okay on the road, just not at home. Like there's something at home that I don't know that they're not clicking with. I don't know why. There's a bunch of cheering fans. So anyway, but yeah, as far as the good, I mean, what can you say? Jalen Marshall. Like
I knew you were going to say that, and I don't.
Right, like how can I not?
Yeah.
How can I not?
Yeah.
Kyle Loxley, like those were the two players that really stood out to me as far as like playing wise. And another good is, when someone gets injured, how much players will come together no matter what side you're on. I thought that was a really moving experience, especially, Gavin gets hurt and what's his name? Number 34, Leader? Is that how you say his name properly?
Yeah.
Leader?
Milanovic Litre.
Yeah. He would not leave Gavin's side. He was with him from the beginning to the end while he was getting carted away. So I thought that was like a really huge reflection on like a brother getting hurt. And that really touched me. And then obviously Apara, I've never seen the whole team go on the field like that. And I've never seen the opposite side, all of them coming together like that. And, my head went to the worst possible thing. Like I thought this was another Jason Tucker thing where he's done forever, like paralyzed. Because you don't see that ever. So just to see that something is bigger than football really brings you back and like, okay, these are people's lives. These are the guys that are putting their life on the line initially. So, I mean, that was a really good thing to actually experience, to see teams coming together to support one player in preseason, and they probably don't even know, a bunch of them don't even know each other.
That's
So,
fair. Yeah.
I mean, it's not good that he got hurt, but that's a positive that I take away, that, they can put some things aside and come together from both sides of the fence. I like that. We need more of that in this world right now.
Don't we? Yeah.
Right? Just to get a little philosophical. And is that all the good I have? I think so.
You know what? That's more than a lot of people could pull out of it. So hey, I'll take that.
And brass tactics. And I mean, as far as players go, Jake Serezna just like beat up everybody. It was great. So he definitely controlled the D line. And also 76, Farrell McKeever.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was really good coming off the corner.
Yeah, I saw
edge,
his number a lot kept flashing by, and so those are the two guys on defense that really impressed me. And obviously Jalen Marshall. I wouldn't have said number 5 at the beginning. I mean, did I find my new Bryant Mitchell? I never will. Let's be honest. But I liking a little mambo in my life.
Nice. There's the new nickname. I love it. Yeah, he stood out from what I heard. And obviously, I mean, I only heard part of the second half, but and Riley's grad was amazing, but it's still, it was, I didn't get to the assessment as much. It did sound to me like Trey Ford is growing as a quarterback. Like he didn't,
100%.
I know he threw an interception and he still was running a lot, but I
I
think,
think that was tipped. Someone said that
okay.
on Twitter that they saw it tipped.
Oh,
So,
okay.
it-
Okay. So
yeah.
there was a Bahar moment, tipped off somebody and the other team caught it. Okay. It's, so yeah, I think the growth is there, and that's the part that's exciting, right? He may not be there
Yeah.
quite yet, but the growth keeps happening, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to. So
And I mean, I'll say it 1,000 times. There's something about his throws. I'm just mesmerized by them.
oh wow, okay, okay,
I just, to me, they just are like a work of art. When I see it like streaming through the air, I'm like, that is like a perfectly thrown ball. Wow.
nice. Is it
So
landing where the guy can catch it? Is the next thing. It could be pretty in the air, but it's
well,
land.
no, well, all of them that were catchable weren't caught. So,
Okay.
I mean, the throw itself is beautiful. And then, I mean, of course, there's going to be mistakes, but the ones that are perfect and don't get caught, I get even more upset because you know how I feel about number 2.
Yes, that's right. Yes, push-ups. Come on. Yeah.
There was one in particular, but we can wait till we get to like the bad.
All right. Well, let's go there. That's next.
Oh,
Who are the ones that you're like, ooh, that's not good.
like everyone.
That's fair when the score was that what it was. When you lose by 30, yeah.
I mean, I'm. It's still preseason, so I'm not
Yes.
going to be super, super judgmental. But it looked like a bunch of amateurs. Like they looked better in training camp than they did on an actual game.
Okay. Yep.
And I just like, I get it, but I don't get it at all. Like the kicking game. What happened? I've never seen such a 180 in football ever. I don't think. Like you even said you've never been interested in the kicking
Yeah.
as much as you have this training camp.
Yeah.
Those
But
kicks were brutal.
yeah,
Oh,
that's what it sounded like. On the other hand, the one thing you know what they didn't have on the field, Sergio.
mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing
So
we have him. That's good though.
yes, yeah, yeah. But like the ones that we were watching at training camp,
Oh, I know. I know. We were
what?
watching Lightborn and Hutchins, and they were kicking the lights out, but then the lights came on, and that
You don't.
the wrong
And I
way.
mean, like Chad makes a point too. Our friend Nubian, like I mean, it's different when you're in training camp than when you're opposite of someone running after you in order to get to the ball.
Right.
But in Winnipeg, was there that much trouble? Like
Yeah. No.
right? Like, but I mean, they've all played football before, so it's not like they're completely brand new to kicking off when someone else is flying at you. So it was just bizarre to see such a turnaround. And yeah, wow. Well, I mean, the cuts speak for themselves, I guess.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. Why don't we just get to that? Because I think that's kind of where we're lying out a lot of where things landed. And then I see there's a couple of questions here in the chat that we'll get to in a second.
And before the podcast is up, sorry, I have to talk about one
Sure.
missed catch, but we can do that later. We can do that.
Talk about that now, because then we'll talk about the cuts.
I was wondering if it was going to come up, but that I don't know if anyone else saw the missed catch by Shy Ross, perfectly thrown ball by Trey Ford to Shy Ross, and it was coming over his shoulder, and he turned around, and it was going to be like a perfect catch, and he had an open field, and it would have been a touchdown, and he dropped it.
Oh, really?
Or just like mishandled it, and it was like that, and everyone, you could just like feel the energy, it's like, and then it got dropped, and you're like, that was a perfectly thrown ball, and you had an open field, and it's gone.
Did it just like bounce off his hands, or was it just?
Well, he was catching it over the opposite side of where I was sitting, so I'm not exactly sure if it bobbled or if he just like completely missed it. I just saw that thing and I'm like, oh, it's Shy Ross. Like, no bigs, number 11 here. Whoa. Okay. And I think that was the fourth quarter too, and you're like, I give up on life.
That was.
But
Yeah.
That was probably my worst moment because you're like, at least get one more.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah. And that probably was coming then from Kyle Oxley, who sounded like he had another good game for what he was doing. Like he was moving the ball. And I'll give the line of the night in our text chat to Paul because Mike said, well, Loxley seems to be, moving the ball well, but I don't know if that's, because it's against lesser competition because of course Calgary had other guys in. But Paul responded with, well, did he get traded to Calgary in the end of the third quarter? I thought that was such a brilliant line going up against lesser competition. Uh-huh. That was, but hey, that was pretty funny. That was a good line. Yeah, there lots of tough things to go over for that. And I'll do a couple of comments here that we'll just go before we get to the releases. Coach Vic saying, what we were saying there a couple of weeks ago, we haven't seen a home win since October of 2019. So
What? Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
need a home win at some point. And block punts are never really good. No kidding. We've had a lot of those as of late. And just took the wind out of everybody. Was Ken was saying. Our next game this year will be against the Rough Riders. Yay. Okay. Coach Vic saying Westivus was amazing, which I'm sure it was, and I can't wait for Westivus on the 18th. It's going to be awesome. And Coach says so many dropped balls. Title of the podcast. And nobody stood out. It was so boring. This was their job tryout, and that's the general sentiment: is that this was your job tryout, and
Yeah.
guys were not showing up, and that's I think that's kind of indicative when you see what happened the day after. Jerry Cooper saying, was it a case of players trying to secure jobs as individuals and not playing as a team? And Coach says that's a really good point. So, and then Ken Ludwig says Stamp's defense made Ford look like the rookie he is, but he recognized when there was no one downfield to throw to. So that's good. And it looks like Ronan is on with us, and he said that drop was brutal. So obviously he agrees with you, Kayla. Yeah. So that's not surprising. So let's get to the cuts. So released outright, Victor Abraham, who's a linebacker, Dotun Akatipi, who is a defensive back, Karan Ashley, who is wide receiver, Blaze Barber, who's one of the long snappers, Jean-Paul Simonkinda, running back. I mean, come on, we just lost sort of kinda.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that sad that we're only going to miss the name?
It is true. Yeah. Oh, there's another one coming up. Keenan Clark at defensive back. Tyler Clucas Warren, who is an offensive lineman. Javonte Dean, or Leg Day, now gone, defensive back. Nate Edwards, linebacker. That one is tough for me. I thought he actually showed out really well, and I've been chatting with his mom on Twitter, and she was the one that messaged me and said released. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Yeah. I thought he was really good, but I'm not an evaluator. So Nate Hamlin, who's a defensive back, Greg Hutchins in the kicking game, Peter Cordes off the offensive line, Caleb Lightbourne, who is a kicker, Emmanuel McGirt on the offensive line, Terrence Roberts, or T-Bob as we were calling him at running back, Forte Sapp from the linebacker position, which is a little surprising to me. I had heard lots of Forte Sapp, but I think Pharaoh McKeever might have actually stepped up in that particular role. Christian Salisbury at wide receiver, which also was surprising because he was looking like a good returner as well. Brandon Smith on the offensive line, J.D. Spielman at wide receiver, Jawan Taylor at defensive back, and Jalen Tolliver at wide receiver. And I thought that one might have hit you a little bit, but I think Mambo number 5 took that spot.
The Jalen swapped.
Yep.
That is sad, though.
Little Jalen swap, which also sounds a little wrong. Anyway, was there any other names on there that really caught you off guard?
I mean, when the list comes out, I get emotional just because I can't imagine what it would be like as a player. Especially if you thought you put your heart and soul to it, and just to see that. So I have a really I sympathize with these guys. I can't empathize. I've never gone through this, but it kind of breaks my heart, and it's just sad to see names like we didn't know you, but I mean, they're people, and they
Yeah.
don't have a job that they may have like loved, and it may just be that someone just outperformed, and maybe they're not the greatest at football, but they love it, right? So, I mean,
Well, and maybe there's a couple of guys on there that are the first call if something happens,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
they didn't want a practice roster spot, but down the road, when there's injuries because it's football and that happens,
yeah.
and those are the guys that are the first call. Who knows? Like we'll have to
It's
see, right?
Yeah, it's just it's always heartbreaking. But I mean, I thought I was a little surprised. I mean, he didn't have the best showing, which was Cameron Ashley,
Mhm.
but I'm wondering who, as a wide receiver, may have outshined him a little bit. Maybe Jacob Hawley or Caleb Hawley
Caleb Holly, yeah,
performed a bit better.
yeah.
I'm just honestly surprised that he was cut so quick. So I don't know if there was maybe attitude problems on the bench. If things weren't going right, he wasn't correcting himself. I just don't. We don't know that. But just to see how he was performing training camp against Winnipeg, and now got released after this game, I was a little bit surprised on that one. And then again with Christian Salisbury, as you already brought up, was a name that caught some people's attention too. So yeah, I mean, it sucks. I felt really bad for Caleb Lightbourne, though, on one of his botched kicks. He
Yeah.
went to the bench in flames. He was
Really?
incredibly upset. He ripped off his helmet and sat down on the bench and like threw it to the ground. Like he was upset with himself. And I just felt so, so bad for him. But
Tough. That is tough.
yeah,
But you know what? I'm going to go back to Karan Ashley for a second because I agree with you. That one was a little bit of a surprise for me, but I think they wanted to have some veterans in the receiving core, and you look at Emmanuel Arsenault and Caleb Hawley, like you mentioned, that are now on the roster,
yeah,
and maybe they're looking for some of those veterans to help because in our quarterbacking, all four quarterbacks don't have a ton of experience, and
yeah,
so maybe that veteran leadership from the receiving core can help with that, right? So,
yeah.
I'd have to think that plays into it for sure. So,
Well, and a lot of times too, like it's about the chemistry of teammates. I mean, you might be a
yeah,
fantastic player, but if you're a crap person in the locker room, how valuable are you going to be in the long run? Like, right? Would you really want that guy who is all about himself and not the team? I'm not saying that's him,
yeah,
but
yep,
just in generally speaking too. So we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It's just his performance wasn't great, but I didn't think it was bad enough to get released so quickly.
yeah. That was the
But
surprise, right? Yeah,
who are we? We're
yeah,
nobody. We're a
yeah. We do.
podcast that talk about football.
Yeah,
Like
just fans. I like this guy.
fans.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
They did add
number.
some people to our practice roster. Michael Beaudry goes over. Now he's listed as a quarterback, but he's been playing lots of other positions. So he's the jack of all trades there. Mark David Bienemy, so double hyphen, moves over to the practice roster. Rashawn Simonize, Cole Nelson, Nicholas Sumach, I think is how you say it. Rafael Gaglianone, that's our other
Oh,
kicker.
None, I
In
think.
DB. Yeah, Gaglianone. Yeah, there we
I
go.
think so.
Raphael Leonard. So a lot of Raphaels on the practice roster.
We got a
Uh,
square again.
Hey, yeah, and Sherman Batty at running back, Charles Nelson at wide receiver, and Anthony or Trey Hoskins at defensive back. So at
No.
least he's made the practice roster. I don't know if it's enough for me to get a jersey yet, but we'll see. He's on. He's close. We have to
There's still
actually
hope.
ask him. What is it? Trey? Is it Anthony? Not sure.
Maybe it's like Anthony Trey or Trey Anthony.
Or maybe it's Anthony, and for short they got Trey out of that somehow.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well,
Go talk to him.
to each their own, I suppose. But wouldn't it be Tony?
Yeah, sure. Well, whatever.
And
To some
Cole,
degree, I hope it's Anthony because then I could truly get like a Hoskins on my jersey and it would be right. It would still be right. Like,
Every time I hear the name Anthony, though, I always think of Russell Peters.
Okay.
The one Anthony.
Anthony. Exactly. That's
Um,
pretty good.
and I didn't know that Cole Nelson was from Ponoka. What's up,
Yeah.
bro? We're like
Yeah.
20 minutes from each other.
See? Yeah. Cole Nelson's a good dude. He's a good dude. Yeah, he was a great dude. And he wears his shirt proudly, so I like that. I appreciate that from Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. As does Manny Arsenault when he announces that he's staying with the team and he has the shirt on. I'm like, yeah, the boy.
That was so dope.
He's got to be on the
Oof.
show. Come on, Manny. Yeah. Now the Esks did have some news as well. They earlier in the week they did sign linebacker Brady Sheldon, and obviously he made the roster as well. And then today a big trade with Ottawa. They acquire Jalen Collins at defensive back and Martez Ivy on the offensive line, and we gave up a 6th-round pick for that. Now Jalen Collins looked like he was a great corner last year, and I have a feeling that's where he's slotting in with Javonte Dean being on the cut list. So it's going to be interesting how this kind of plays out in over this next week. That depth chart on Friday is going to be pretty crazy, in my opinion.
Now, how long has he been in the league?
Last year was his rookie year in
Oh, okay.
CFL. Yeah, but he
Okay.
had been around in the NFL for a bit. So, but he played obviously with Chris Jones in Toronto last year, so he already knows what he's getting into and he knows the system, right? So that's an exciting
Bonus.
cut. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. I know there's a little chat going on in that about that in the chat here, talking about the trade. So DB and an O lineman, so that's pretty cool. We'll take it. Yeah. Hey, that to me that looks like a great deal for us.
Mm-hmm.
6th-round pick, and we get a what could be a starting corner. I think that's
Yes, please.
a deal. Yeah, it'd be nice to win a trade every now and again. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Now, before we get too far into predicting for next week,
Oh,
we should do
jeez.
some wild predictions for this year.
Oh, Lord.
We need to
I
do
was
some standings.
I
We
was
need to
so
do
wrong
standings
last
for
year.
this year because I know, like, oh God, we'll all be off. I understand that, but from what we've seen in preseason and what we've seen with team moves and all those kind of things, okay, let's start with the East. How do you have the East teams lining up at the end of the season?
You know, I don't even know what the stands like who won what, to be honest, in the East.
Hey,
So I'm just gonna be
so pick
so
an order.
biased.
Just pick
I'm
an
just gonna
order
be
for.
so biased and go Montreal won because it's me
Okay.
and it's Montreal and it's Vernon Adams Jr. So
Okay.
they're one in the East. I think the Red Blacks are going to be a little bit better under Mazzoli.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to be up there. I still think. Wait, who's the quarterback for Hamilton again?
Dane Evans, the great Dane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'll say Hamilton is second.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Do I think that Red Blacks are going to be third? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Do you think?
Oh boy.
Whatever. It's wild predictions. Do whatever you want.
Okay, we'll go Ottawa, Toronto. Even though I don't think that's right.
All
I don't
right,
think
then.
that's right.
No, that's good.
Wait, who
No,
is
that's fine.
it? Bethel for Toronto
It
still?
is. Yeah.
Oh, he's got
Oh, Bethel Thompson. Yeah. Law firm, as our good friends at the Argos Fancast call them. Yeah.
law firm.
Yeah, because it sounds like a law firm name. Yeah. 3 last names.
I love that. It's so true. It's so true. Oh yeah, I don't think that's right, but I'm so bad at these. Yeah, and it's so weird seeing Mazzoli in black and red. I don't think
Isn't
I
it?
like it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, I know it's weird. All right, well, you're going to be happy with me because I'm going to go with Montreal at the top as well. Also followed by Hamilton, but then I am going to go with Toronto and then Ottawa.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're right, but I'll stay.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's go westward.
Oh Lord.
What do you have in the West, Kayla?
oh Lord have mercy on my soul, because I don't think Winnipeg is going to do as well. Well, you never know. Ew, why do I think that Calgary is going to be one?
Okay.
God, I hope
They
I'm
did
wrong.
blow out both of their preseason games. I can
But it's
understand where.
and that's what scares me. It's preseason and they still don't and then God, yeah, it's gonna Calgary is my pick for number one.
Okay. I got Winnipeg going first. Okay.
Okay.
What do you have next?
I think Winnipeg will be 2.
Okay. I got Sask in second. Okay.
I think we're gonna be 4.
I 100% agree with you. That's exactly where I have us. Yeah.
See, now I don't know Sask and BC.
Okay.
Because Fajardo is more in tune with this team, but he's kind of flip-floppy as far as like how good he is. Like he can be really on point and then not so. I'm not sure with Rourke. Is that how you say
Rourke,
Nathan?
yeah.
Rourke?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a Canadian.
Yep.
So I'm going to say BC, Edmonton, Sask.
Okay, when Sask at the bottom. All right.
Only because I don't want to be last, but
all right, and I got Calgary in third and BC in fifth. So,
so
we have a few people putting some putting their predictions out.
What's yours then? Winnipeg, Sask?
So mine's Winnipeg, Sask, Calgary, Edmonton, BC. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can see Chris here has Winnipeg, Calgary, Sask, Edmonton, BC for the West, and for the East he has Hamilton, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. So we shall see. Interesting. Lots of fun to say that at the beginning.
And let's be clear. I'm crap at these, so
yeah.
let's hope that except for Montreal, I hope that's the case. But I really hope that we are not. I mean, I'd be happy if we weren't last, but it'd be nice to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
But
I think this is a growth year for us. I think we're still rebuilding a roster, so we'll.
And for your expectations, people.
Correct. All right, week 1. Elks are playing at BC. Depth chart, like I said, will be very interesting. Lions won last week against Saskatchewan, and Rourke looked pretty good playing that first half. Let's talk about that game. In my opinion, we're going to need to see a lot of pressure from a Chris Jones defense. He's a rookie starter. He's not he has started a couple games last year, but he's the young kid. Get some pressure on him, and I truly hope that he gets we get lots of pressure on him. Mostly because I'm going to be there and watching it, and
that'll be fun.
But I think that's that's one of the major keys. With the other key being hopefully a return of the kicking game with Sergio. Yeah. What do you think about this game?
Well, it's on the road, so that's advantage us. We're not playing home. But yeah, I agree with your statement. I really want to see more of Arbuckle, so hopefully he is in for the whole game. Mm-hmm. One would think, since it's actually go time.
Yeah. If he's okay, because we're not sure. He looked like he might have been dinged up, right? So
still that bad. Okay, I didn't know how bad it was.
We're hoping that he's ready to go, but right now we don't know. And of course, practice isn't until Tuesday, so it'd be pretty hard to know anything until.
Yeah. So. And then we just have to return. We have to get some field advantage, apparently, because it's the same old story. I don't want to repeat myself from last year again, but can we just have a special teams that helps our offense get into better field positions so at least we can get a field goal? Last year we were complaining that's all we were getting, and this game I was begging for a bloody field goal at any point. But yeah, you have to play like a team first off.
Yeah.
Maybe start with that.
Let's start with that.
I'll be more optimistic once I see how, like you said, the roster list is when that comes out and the final cuts, let's see who else is standing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. We'll get to our prop bet on that. You think about what our prop bet is going to be, and you get to, and I'll set
I
the
already
line.
know
But you
it
get, you
because
know what?
it's
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, we'll do that after we do our pick'ems
yeah.
because we got to get back to pick'ems. It's great that they're back and we get to chat about them because that means it's season on. How
Season time.
exciting! Okay, first one: Montreal versus Calgary in Calgary. That's the starting game of the season on Thursday night. Who do you have in this game, Commissioner?
I'm wondering.
Just
Okay,
groan and growl. That's fair.
okay.
Come on,
So
we all know what you're gonna pick.
I know this year. So this is my thing. This is gonna make it easy for me for this game at least. Okay, so I
Okay.
did. I always pick Calgary. I never pick Calgary. This year I will do Montreal by default, except when they play us. So
Okay.
this will be easy. Montreal.
Montreal it is. Okay. Okay.
I'm just like I already made
Lovely.
my predictions about stupid Calgary. I don't. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm picking Calgary to win at home in their first game. So sorry,
Which is fair
Capper.
enough.
Sorry.
Mm,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I'll pick Calgary, and happy when I'm wrong. Um, Ottawa versus Winnipeg on Friday night. Our first Friday night football of the season. This one in Manitoba. So I am going to say that the defending Grey Cup champions take that one down. I think it'll be closer though, because I think Ottawa will have some of those things up their sleeve that we weren't quite prepared for. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Don't doubt
could
that.
be very interesting. But I think Winnipeg takes that one. What about you?
I would agree. I think if Ottawa is going to improve, it's going to be a little bit later in the season, not so late, but I think they're going to take some time to click. But I mean, oh, I can't not say holy mazzoli, but it's just so weird to see that, like I said, in those colors. But I agree. I wouldn't put it past O'Shea to come up with something spunky. So you got to Winnipeg at home. It's not preseason. Whew, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next one, Hamilton versus Saskatchewan. This one is right before our game on Saturday. There's a double header on Saturday. Who do you got in that one?
Who are they? Where are they playing?
In Saskatchewan.
In
In the
Saskatchewan?
rectangle. Yep.
Hamilton.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. This was my upset of the week as well. I'm going to go with Hamilton
Woo!
taking down Saskatchewan. That should be rather interesting. Now that could be because I might have a light rule this year of never picking Saskatchewan, but
Don't you love those?
it's pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah, wrong shade of green. So Hamilton, the Great Dane, comes out, shows that what he can do as the starter, and away they go. So
Mm-hmm.
now Elks prop bet. What do you have for our Elks prop bet?
Touchdowns.
Touchdowns for us.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
do you
mean,
mean total in the game or just
total,
us?
total in, no, sorry, just us.
Just Elks touchdowns.
Just
Okay.
Elks touchdowns because it was just so pathetic. How could I not pick
Okay.
that?
I'm gonna set the line at 1.5.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming that they get one. Do they get two or do they not? I guess basically is the question. So, what do you think? 1.5 on the line, and those of you that are in the chat, tell us what you think on that line, over or under on 1.5 touchdowns for the Elks this week against BC. What do you got, Kayla?
Well, since you guys are going to be there and give us some good luck, I'll say over.
Ooh, look at you.
I'm going to be optimistic. This was preseason, guys. We have to be a little bit better. So I think we're at least going to get two.
All right. I am also going to go over, but I thought you would go under. So that's why I thought it'd be funny, but I'll say over. I say we get two. I think we can get two. But I think that's a fair line, the way that we played as of lately.
Yeah, and maybe a few field goals and a win. I mean,
Yep.
not asking for that much, right?
Hey, there we go. You never know. Never know. And Capper reminding us, of course, that it's the 25th anniversary of Friday Night Football. 25 years of Friday Night Football. Ooh, look at that. That's
Amazing.
Or you can tell it's an Elks podcast because Jerry Cooper Coach Vic, Capper, Kobe, Tyler, they're all saying over. So this could be an exciting game for me to watch. That's what I like. I'm okay with this. So
Will we see you on TV? Where are your seats?
not sure yet. I'll figure it out when I'm there. I don't know that you will see me on TV, but that's fine. I'll have my gear on and I'll be cheering. So maybe that'll
Oh,
happen, but who
I
knows?
have to remember to resubscribe to TSN.
It's probably a good idea if you want to watch more
Probably, yeah.
games.
Whew.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Okay, lovely. All right. Before we sign off, let's do this. This episode is also brought to you by Taproot Edmonton, which is on a mission to inform you about your city. Want to get a handle on Edmonton's growing innovation scene? Take a listen to Bloom, Taproot's new podcast. Each week, hosts Emily Rendell Watson and Faiza Ramji will discuss the latest developments and efforts to solve new problems and diversity in the economy. Find out who has invented what, who is investing in whom, and what is on the horizon. Find Bloom everywhere you listen to podcasts or visit bloom.taprootedmonton.ca. I like doing other new podcast things. Those are exciting, right?
There's so many. It's hard to choose. I have my faithful few that I listen to, so
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I could always add a few more.
I hope one in particular, but
Maybe.
maybe. Maybe. It's good. Okay, that's hilarious. Jerry put in a great comment that not saying if the TDs are coming on offense or defense, though, which is fair point.
If it's deep, I'm not complaining.
TD
Just
is a
get
TD.
down there.
We're not.
Yep.
Not going to be upset about that. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
okay.
And Chris Agar says this game will be a war of attrition, but I'll be optimistic and say over. So we've got a lot of overs. A lot of overs on 1.5, and good lord, it better be over. Let's just go with that.
Let it just be war. Like, let there be effort too. Right? I'd be happy with that. Just show up.
Effort is good.
Great. Be great. Yeah.
Very happy with that. Yeah, that's outstanding. Now, our APN shout out this week is going to the podcast called Get Checkered. It's two Formula One newbies give their uneducated hot takes and teach listeners about the sport as they go. You can find them and all the other great shows at albertapodcastnetwork.com. And I have gotten into F1 because I watch Drive to Survive, and I think that's how a lot of people started watching F1. And holy man, that's exciting. So when you have other newbies and other people to chat to, make sure you check out Get Checkered. That's a fun show.
I've never been to Formula One, but I have watched racing, and in fact, it was one of my first sporting events ever.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
look at that.
It was very loud. I was a kid. I'm like, ah!
That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be loud.
Right?
Loud
But I remembered
cars.
it. I remembered it. That's what was.
See?
It made it memorable. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kayla, where does everybody find you on the socials?
On the one social of Twitter.
Yes.
Yes, quite. You can find me at Duchess Lombardi. Wow, I said that with like a really bad slur. Duchess Lombardi.
Wonderful. Excellent.
Yes.
Because your name is Kayla Lombardi, of course. Yeah. Right? That's lovely. Okay. And you can find me at Freepalicious and the show at the Turf District on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you join the huddle with us there. And make sure you're also following our good friends at Pay It Forward with Football. They sent 40 kids, I believe it was, to that game on Friday, and Aaron Grimes was high-fiving everybody. They're doing everything to spread kindness, and we need more of that. So make sure you are following Pay It Forward with Football. If you are on YouTube, stay on for overtime, where we will chat some more about the game coming up on Saturday and kind of get ready for week 1. Otherwise, make sure that you are sharing that link with all of your friends so that more people can get into the huddle with us as we get into the season and are coming every week. We will be back next week and hope for a player to join us to chat about game 1 and kind of how training camp was and all those types of things. We're very excited to do more this year as far as bringing some of those stories to you. So thank you again for joining us. For Superfan Mike and Commissioner Kayla, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week or in a couple of minutes.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.